Yo, what is up my greasy and grubby gamers? You've probably heard of Genshin Impact, the game that brought gacha into the mainstream. And like most people, you've probably played it, but then quit it after a while for a multitude of different reasons. And now you're probably sick of all the shenanigans that Gacha Games pull off nowadays. But if you're sick of all the shenanigans, try out Duet Night Abyss. Simply put, it's Warframe, but anime. The best way to describe Duet Night Abyss's structure compared to other Gacha games is this one quote from Wreck-It Ralph.
And I say, Zangief, you are bad guy. But this does not mean you're bad guy.
Similarly, just because you are a gacha game does not mean you are gacha game. So yeah, Duet Night Abyss does a lot of things that I wish other gacha games did. So let me just talk about all of the things that I think they do better, starting with numero uno. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The game still has a gacha in it. However, what sets it apart is that the gacha is purely for cosmetic items, not for characters and not for weapons. There's so many different combinations of cosmetics that you can use that there's a level of personalization that this game has that other gacha games don't. Like, I hope that one day I'm able to pull up in this game with a full Louis Vuitton outfit and just flex on other players. And I'm saying that as if I have the money to afford it anyways. Now, going back to the gacha, since you're only pulling for cosmetics, that means that all characters and weapons are obtainable in-game, if you couldn't tell by their advertising strategy. But that means to unlock the characters, you actually have to play the game, which apparently for some gacha players is a problem, which leads to my next point. So I personally would like to think that gacha games fall within a spectrum. On one side of the spectrum, you've got the mobile games. Now, these games aren't bad per se, but they aren't meant for your undivided attention. Like, most of these games have autoplay for a reason. On the other side of the spectrum, you got the quote AAA games. Like the name suggests, these are more like an actual video game, I guess? The problem with these type of games isn't per se the idea of them, but more how they're executed in practice. The two big ones I can think of right now are Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves. Both of these games have pretty interesting combat that's also kind of fun to do, but then you barely actually do the combat, and most of the time you're playing the game, you're either 1, just running through a story, or 2, playing a shitty event minigame that's basically the same as those mobile games. In Duet Night Abyss, I actually get to play the game, which also leads to my next point. Now, apparently, gacha devs think that we are old men because there's always a stamina system in this game that only allows us to play for like 5 minutes a day. Or there's another sinister reason that they're doing this, but I wouldn't know because I'm not smart enough to be able to read or understand these research papers. But hey, guess what? In Duet Night Abyss, there's no stamina system. You can play when you want, however much you want. If you want to play this game for 10 hours up till 3 AM in the morning, you can do that. And speaking of playing when you want, self-explanatory, this game does not have dailies. Kind of. I mean, the game does have dailies, but the dailies don't give out premium currency, which means a lot more than you'd think it might. Because now you don't feel the same pressure you did with other games to log in every day to get your 60 fucking primo gems. If, for example, a game came out and you really like playing it, and you don't feel like playing Duet Night Abyss right now, and you want to play the other game, you can do that. And it just means so much to me. I hate having to boot up a game I don't feel like playing right now, spending all my stamina for the game I don't feel like playing right now, and then doing all my dailies for the game I don't feel like playing right now. Sure, it doesn't take much time, but if you do it every day, it certainly does add up. Sometimes we forgot that we played games for fun. And speaking of fun, now is it just me, or do gacha devs hate adding co-op to their games? I'm not sure if it's because they're lazy or they just know their player base a bit too well. Most of the other games, the most they have for multiplayer content is like guild features. And if the game does have co-op, it's only during like small events, and even then it's not really encouraged either. On the other hand, this game actually does encourage you to play with friends. I could actually see myself having fun playing with friends in this game, grinding certain dungeons, if I had any friends that played this game. Also, a nice touch that they added for this game is the shared locations that make the game feel like an MMO kind of, even if it isn't really. I'm kind of tired of all the other gacha games being a single player only experience, so it's nice to have a game that has a bit more emphasis on like multiplayer content. content. And that's why you should play Duet Night Abyss. And if you're thinking I'm glazing this game a bit too much, just know that I'm saying this all out of my own free will. I am not being coerced to say any of this whatsoever. So in summary, you should play Duet Night Abyss because it's a gacha game but without all the shitty gacha parts that make every other game kinda aids to play. Or you could just play a normal game instead without all the live service because the live service part usually makes it all kinda shitty. If you liked it, like, comment, and subscribe, and goodbye.